Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the BassBlaster, and this is your Seafoam Top 5 of the Week in Bass Fishing, number 1.
I've been waiting for a girl like you.
Well, we're always waiting for those big girls to show up, including this time of year when they really start to bust shad on top. We're waiting, scanning, and ready to fire a fluke or top water or whatever out there to catch those schoolers. Now, we're always hoping they come up within casting distance, but what if you didn't have to do that anymore? What I mean is, what if you could know you would be within casting distance? Well, we can with forward-facing sonar. Now, Larry Nixon and Joey Cifuentes, they fished as a team in this Pan American or Pan Am Bass Championship recently on Lake Hamilton, Arkansas, and that's how they won the thing. They followed schools of bait around, and when those bass fired up and got into them, bang, they would throw out and catch them. Now, Joey fished a Zoom Super Fluke in that color, which I think is called Crazy Chrome or Chrome Shad, and Larry fished a Teckle Kick Knocker, which is a type of walking bait. I did see that a couple of other guys did the exact same thing recently, but I could only find one of them when I went looking, and that was Jamie Black, a guy from Arkansas, who won a 2-day BFL at the same lake, Lake Hamilton, doing the same thing. He said he followed them around with live scope and fired a top water at them when they came up schooling. So in this case, forward-facing sonar is not being used to help catch fish, really. Like, it's just used to stay on top of them. Can't wait to see what's next with this whole forward-facing sonar deal. Number 2. Has forward-facing sonar topped out? Like, is it the best it's gonna be with it now? Greg the Hack Attack Hackney recently said yes, in a way, on Bassmaster.com. I believe we are seeing forward-facing sonar the best it will ever become. The new sonar has created fishing pressure on those fish, and eventually they will adjust. I've seen it happen over the years. Whatever advantage we gain, we eventually lose over time. Okay, so what he's saying is that the fish are adjusting or learning or getting scared, whatever it is. And in fact, we're seeing that already at highly pressured lakes, partly because we release the fish so they get to learn. Now, I've been hearing reports for a couple of years now on fish in highly pressured lakes. When they get the forward-facing sonar turned on, they either hunker down or swim off, and it's either when the sonar's turned on or when it's turned on to them. It's so bad in a couple of lakes, or at least in a few instances, where guys will turn on the beam to see the fish and then turn it off right away so it doesn't spook them. Now, you might recall that the same thing happened with 2D in certain lakes, like when guys really got into drop shotting and turning on that sonar and having fish either hunker down or swim off. Now, whether it's the sonar or the boat noise or casting and catching or something else, it doesn't even really matter. Fact is, it's happening, and Greg has a point, and don't make the Hack Attack mad, man. Fish will adjust to pressure. They always have, and they always will. Number 3. Now, maybe we're seeing the bass be the dumbest they'll ever be with forward-facing sonar, but we for sure haven't seen the sonar itself top out. Now, you got to remember, there's never been a case of technology not going forward really fast, or actually there is one case. That's the whole moon landing thing.
3, 2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good.
Man, I wonder how they got that footage back from the moon. Haha, I love that stuff. Anyhow, we've never sent men to Mars, and we're not blasting off in rocket ships from our driveway to go into outer space, but in every other case, technology has gotten faster and better. So expect forward-facing sonar to do the same. In fact, right now, the big saltwater boats have better sonar than we do. Stuff like crazy bottom definition and 360 live sonar. But that's because these guys can afford 5 to 6 figures of sonar on a 7-figure boat, and they have space to mount all these transducers. The big ones are big transducer arrays, they call them. But sooner or later, that technology will trickle down to us, and it might look like this. This insane live type sonar is from a European company called, I think it's Kongsberg Gruppen. It's made for those underwater ROVs or remote operated vehicles, but the transducer doesn't look too huge. No word on what it costs, but these videos are from 2019. So it should be even better now. Because again, except in one case, technology advances faster and faster. By the way, did you know that O.J. Simpson went to the moon?
It's hard to believe you really are that far away in space.
It's hard for me to believe it, too.
That might explain something. Number 4. Woo! That's Mavrik. A great movie, and heads up, the new Rapala jerkbait, which should be on sale in November, might be a great bait as well. Now, the Mavrik kind of got lost at ICAST with Rapala's launch of the new Crush City soft plastic baits, but word from the Rapala pros who spec'd and helped design this Mavrik jerkbait is that it's all that. It's really good.
You know, it takes a team to build the perfect product a lot of times, and Rapala came to the whole pro staff and said, what do you want in a jerkbait? They put every attribute that we all sort of wanted into this bait to create the complete premium, okay? Out of the box, tournament ready bait.
Jacob Wheeler actually fished it at this year's MLF Red Crest Championship, and Patrick Walters fished it at the Bassmaster Classic and then got a top 10 with it at the Lay Lake Bassmaster Elite Tournament. Of course, jerkbaits with forward-facing sonar is a thing, so they designed it with that in mind too.
You know, the game has definitely changed over the last few years with technology advancing and forward-facing sonar becoming a major player. And the one thing that you just notice is how often bass suspended fish is the #1 thing that a jerkbait can trigger better than any other bait out there.
A couple things you really have to be able to do when utilizing live sonar with the jerkbait is having a bait you can make a good long cast with, because so often you may see that fish at 50 or 60 feet away. Reel the bait down, get it diving, and then get the bait down, start working it, try to get it to that last little bit of depth.
Those new Redline tournament grade hooks, the trebles, are key as well. You know what I always say, let's see what happens when us regular fishermen really put those baits to the test. Mavrik. Number 5. Man, it used to be when a newbie strolled up to the Bassmaster Opens, or I guess the MLF Invitationals, it was like this.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
What I mean is you had to put in your time and take some beatings before you finally got your legs under you. But maybe not anymore if you fish in college. Check this statement from John Garrett, who just finished second in the Opens points. College bass fishing directly relates to the Opens. The competition was just as stout, and I felt like college fishing was the same with just a different name. Whoa, that's a big statement. Now, of course, you don't need to fish in college, and some guys who have their eyes on a pro career choose not to. Like, for example, JT Tompkins, who won the Opens points, and this year's Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour Angler of the Year, Matt Becker. But if a guy who does fish in college shows up to a tournament now, maybe expect them to act like this instead.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Maybe not that muscular, though. That's all I got for you this week. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Seafoam. Go to bassblaster.com or .rocks to sign up for the juice-filled, bass-filled BassBlaster email. See you next week. God bless you.